In this video we are going to see how to find the equation of the tangent line to the curve at a given point using implicit differentiation. Okay, this is the equation for the tangent line, that is y is minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, and also we have 2 points provided. These are the values we are going to plug for y1 and x1, and if you notice y1 and x1, for x1 the first is the x value, right? So we have this one, we have this one, and we need one more point. We have to find out the slope, right? For this part we are going to use the implicit differentiation. To find the implicit differentiation, what we do is we take the derivative, like we take the derivative for all of them, but when we take the derivative for y, we multiply that one with y prime. That's the only different thing. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the derivative. Here we are going to have 2x plus, and if we take the derivative for y, that's going to become 2y, but whenever we take derivative for y, we multiply this one with y prime. Okay, and in the other side, first we are going to have a chain rule, because outside derivative is going to be 2 times this, and we keep the inside as it is, 2x square plus 2y square minus x. Then we take the inside derivative and multiply that one with this, so that's going to give us 4x. But again, you can see here we have y. If we take the derivative, we have to multiply it with y prime, so this is going to be 4y times y prime, and then minus x, that's going to become just minus 1. Okay, and that's it. Now we have to just multiply and solve for y prime, because y prime is going to be the slope. Okay, now let's go ahead and do that. Here we have 2x plus 2y y prime. Now let's solve this side. We can simplify this side by multiplying everything. Now let's go ahead and do that. 2 times 2x square, that's going to be 4x square, and then 2 times 2y square, that's going to be 4y square, and 2 times minus x, that's going to be negative 2x, and then we keep this one as it is, and then we are going to keep the other one as it is, 4x 4y y prime minus 1. Then we are going to multiply each term, like 4x square times 4x, 4x square times 4y y prime, then 4x square times minus 1. Then we do the same thing for every term, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Here 4x square times 4x, that's going to be 16x cubed. 4x square times 4y y prime, that's going to give us 16x square y y prime, and then 4y, then we have negative 1, so that's going to become 4x square times negative 1, that's going to be negative 4x square, and then we are going to start with 4y square. 4y square times 4x, that's going to be 16xy square, and 4y square times 4y y prime, that's going to be 16y cube y prime, 16y cube y prime, and if we multiply 4y square with negative 1, that's going to become just negative 4y square, and then we are moving to the negative 2x. If we multiply negative 2x with 4x, that's going to give us negative 8x, and then negative 2x times plus 4y y prime, that's going to give us negative 8xy y prime, 8x y prime, and then negative 2x times negative 1, that's going to become plus 2x. Okay, the whole thing is equal to 2x plus 2y y prime, and from this one you can see we can cancel these two terms, 2x and this 2x, because when we bring this one to this side, that's going to be just negative, right? So these two are cancelled. Now let's see whether we can add something together, and here we have, let's see whether we have like terms. 16x cubed, that's the only thing, and x square y prime, we don't have anything like that, and 4x square, we don't have any other x square. 16xy square, okay, it seems like that's it, we cannot combine anything. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to just write as it is. Okay, but I think I made a mistake here. This 8x should be 8x square. Okay, let's see. 4y square came from multiplying this one with negative 1, then negative 2x times 4x, that's negative 8x square. This one is 8x square, so I can combine these two together. Here you can see we have x square, this one also x square, so the whole thing is going to become negative 12x square. So this is going to become 16x cubed plus 16x square y prime minus 4x square minus 8x square. We can combine these two together, that's going to give us negative 12x square, and then we have 16xy square plus 16y cube y prime, and then we have minus 4y square minus 8xy y prime. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to bring all the y primes to one side, so it will be easier for us to solve for y prime. Okay, now let's bring all the y prime terms. Here we already have 2y prime in the right side, I mean left side, and let's look at the right side. Here we have this term contains y prime, so we are going to move this one to this side. That's going to be 16x square y prime, and we have this term contains y prime, so that's going to be negative 16 y cube y prime, and also we have this term containing y prime, so this is going to be plus 8x y prime, and in the other side of equation we are going to keep the other things. Here we have 16x cube, and then we have negative x square, negative 12x square, and then we have plus 16xy square, and after that we have minus 4y square. Okay, now to solve for y prime, what we are going to do is we are going to take the y prime common. If we do that, this is going to become 2y minus 16x square y minus 16y cube, then plus 8xy, and in the other side of the equation we are going to have the same thing. That's going to be just 16x cube minus 12x square plus 16xy square minus 4y square. Okay, now we are going to move this one to the other side, so this is going to become y prime is equal to 16x cube minus 12x square plus 16xy square minus 4y square divided by the whole thing. That's going to be 2y minus 16x square y minus 16y cube plus 8xy. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to plug this given xy values instead of this xy. Okay, now if you do that, the first term is going to be just 16 times 0 because x is 0, and then here we are going to have again 12 times 0 square, just write it as 0 because square doesn't make anything, and then here also 16 times 0 times y square, and then we have 4y square. I keep y as it is because when we multiply by 0 we don't have to plug the values, right, because it's going to be 0 anyway. And then for this one I'm going to plug the y because this one is going to come as a y value. Here our y value is half, so this is going to be half square, and then in the denominator we have 2 times half, and after that we have negative 16. This is going to be, here we have x, so that's going to be just 0, so let's put 0 square y, and then 16y cube, that's going to be 16 times half cube, and then 8 times 0 times y. Okay, now let's try to simplify this one. From this one you can see anything that contains 0, that's going to be just 0, so we can just get rid of this all these zeros. This one will be cancelled, this one will be cancelled, this one will be cancelled, and this one also will be cancelled, this one also will be cancelled, so we are left with this part alone, like this 4 times half x square and this denominator parts. Now let's take all these parts and write this one in a better way, like y prime, and here we have negative 4 times half square. Half square is 1 over 4, so this is going to be negative 4 times 1 over 4, and in the denominator we have 2 times half, that's going to be just 1, so let's put 1 right here, and then 1 over 2 cube, 2 cube is 8, right, so this is going to be negative 16 times 1 over 8, and that's it. Now let's try to simplify this one. Here we have negative 4, positive 4, that's going to make this one negative 1, and here we are going to have 2, and finally we end up with negative 1 over 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is again negative 1, so negative 1 over negative 1, that's equal to 1. So it means our slope y prime is equal to m, that's equal to 1. So our slope is equal to 1. That's the main thing. Now after we find out the slope, we can express our final answer. Our final answer, let's get rid of some part because we need some space to write this one down. Let's get rid of these parts. Okay, let's get rid of this one, and we are going to write our final answer. Our final answer is going to be y minus y1. Y1 is half, right, so y minus half, and then m is 1, then x is as it is, we keep it as it is, then x1 is the given point, that is 0. And if you simplify this one, that's going to be just y is equal to x plus half, and that's going to be the equation of the tangent line to the curve at the given point. And that's how we do this kind of problems. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.